Let's take a look at every Premier League club's manager and their worst ever season in football. Arsenal, Unai Emery. Arsenal fans can't seem to make up their minds about Unai Emery. One week he has them losing to a bunch of farmers from the back arse of West France. The next he's winning them a league and cup double. Well, at least that's what it looked like after they beat Man United. Anyway, the man has got the silverware to back it up, but he has left Europe to chase the Russian dollar once, linking up with Spartak Moscow in May 2012. By November, the man had been sacked, having just lost the derby 5-1 at home to Dynamo Moscow. In fairness, if he'd managed to lose 5-1 at home to Spurs, Arsenal fans would probably be trying to find out his home address. Bournemouth, Eddie Howe. Considering everything at Bournemouth has basically been an upward spiral, Eddie Howe's only blemish on his CV was that 1 year when he thought the grass was greener at Burnley. Probably the only man on the planet who's ever thought that. Anyway, he had one full season with them, the 11-12 campaign, and finished in a disappointing 13th place in the championship. From Eddie Howe to Sean Dyche, you don't get more contrasting styles of football than that, lads. Brighton, Chris Hughton. Again, Chris Hughton doesn't have too many failures in his report card, but the 13-14 campaign was in danger of seeing him chucked back into the championship forevermore. Sacked by Norwich City in April 2014 after effectively steering them headfirst towards the Premier League relegation zone, you'd have to say that was the worst season of his life, although I doubt getting sacked for Alan Pardew 3 weeks after winning a North East derby 5-1 was much of a picnic either. Burnley, Sean Dyche. To be fair, I wouldn't blame Sean Dyche for getting Burnley relegated from the top flight during the 14-15 campaign, and I don't think anybody did, hence why he kept his job. Yeah, they finished 19th, but they actually won 7 games. It's not like they were totally embarrassed. Still though, a relegation isn't exactly something to staple to the fridge and demand the good loving of his wife for, so I'll have to nominate this one. Cardiff City, Neil Warnock. Neil Warnock has had more football clubs than I've had hot showers in 2019, so it was actually tough trying to find his worst campaign. Maybe his times at Scarborough and Turkey back in the 80s were worse, I don't know, but I can't imagine the 11-12 season with QPR is going to be topped. Having got the Hoops promoted, he was sacked in January with the club rooted to the foot of the Premier League, jam-packed with expensive names who couldn't give two hoots about the club. Oh, and he'd managed to squeeze in results like a 4-0 reverse at home to Bolton and a 6-0 London derby defeat at Fulham. That's when Andy Johnson is scoring a hat-trick against you, you know your team is god-awful. Oh, and don't even get me started on Adel Taarabt. That man spent most of the season down the local pie shop. Chelsea, Maurizio Sarri. Another journeyman? You'd be naive if you thought this was Maurizio Sarri's worst season in football. This is water off a duck's back. Lads, back in 2007, he was effectively Italian football's answer to Avram Grant when he was getting sacked at Hellas Verona's after 6 games, but he won just 1 point during the 07-08 season. Back in Serie B, did anyone think he'd one day be getting appointed by Roman Abramovich? Maybe to mow the lawn or clean the toilets, but that's about it. Crystal Palace, Roy Hodgson. It takes a pretty special type of terrible to make me not choose the England job, but that's exactly what Liverpool was. Appointed at Anfield 9 years ago, the size of the club was clearly too big for this man, and he proceeded to cram in as many disasters as he could in his 6 months in charge. Signing Paul Konchesky, Christian Poulsen and a fat Joe Cole didn't get him off to the best start. Neither did winning one of his opening 8 league games or losing the Merseyside derby, getting beat at home to both Blackpool and Wolves, getting dumped out of the League Cup at Anfield by Northampton Town. I could go on. Everton, Marco Silva. I'd probably say this season for Marco Silva, he cannot coach Everton how to defend a goddamn set piece. They keep losing on the road. Considering the money they've spent, they should be challenging for top 4, not lying 11th in the table, 20 points off 6th. Fulham, Scott Parker. Well, this is easy. Considering this man is a managerial novice, Scott Parker's worst season is undoubtedly going to be this one, where a Fulham defence which crumbles like a tower of Swiss cheese is about to sail headfirst into the championship. Huddersfield Town, Jan Seward. Again, I'm going to have to make this a hat-trick of this season's. Jan Seward is having an awful time with Huddersfield. He can't seem to win a game, but then again, not even Big Sam thought he could save this club. Either this man doesn't mind having a relegation splashed on his CV, or he's the most delusional lad on the planet and he thinks he can keep a team whose idea of a mid-season saviour is Jason Punchin up. Leicester City, Brendan Rodgers. So you might think, surely Brendan Rodgers' worst season of football was that one where he signed Ricky Lambert, benched Stevie G and lost 6-1 at Stoke. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's close, but let's go back 10 years. Appointed at Reading in June 2009, he was sacked in December with the club hovering 1 place above the championship relegation places. Considering the previous season they finished 4th under Steve Coppell, that was a specialist type of failure. If someone had told you that man would be in the Champions League within 5 years, you'd never have believed it. Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp. Everyone remembers Jurgen Klopp as the man who went head-to-head with Bayern Munich and often Pep Guardiola in the Bundesliga, right? Yeah, it didn't really end that way, which most tend to forget. Like Southampton are finding out now, it's only so long you can keep selling your best players before your entire club collapses on itself. Dortmund's came during the 14-15 season, just over a year after appearing in the Champions League final. For God's sake, this club spent the winter break in the relegation zone. By February they were rock bottom of the league. Klopp was nearly sacked and only a miraculous run of form saw them scrape a 7th place finish. Man City, Pep Guardiola. Remember the 16-17 season when Man City had Claudio Bravo in goal, a John Stones who couldn't defend, and everyone thought Pep Guardiola had been found out? Yeah, not so much, lads. They finished 3rd in the league, just 3 points ahead of 5th and a massive 17 off the top. They conceded 4 at the likes of Barcelona, Leicester and Everton. They'd lost an FA Cup semi-final to Arsenal, been dumped out of the League Cup by Man United, and didn't even get past the Champions League last 16, conceding conceding 6 over 2 legs to Monaco. Man United, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. No contest here. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was supposed to be Cardiff's mid-season saviour during the 13-14 campaign. Not a hope. If anything, he made them worse. They lost nearly every game and were relegated with 1 game to spare, losing 3-0 at St James's Park. Newcastle, Rafa Benitez. Speaking of people who were relegated at Newcastle, Rafa Benitez also has a fairly indisputable CV. But let's go with Inter Milan. Back when he was given the reins of power in the summer 2010, it was the impossible job. Jose Mourinho had just won the club at a historic treble before walking out on them for Real Madrid. Benitez, a man who'd just been dumped in his arse by Liverpool in favour of Roy Hodgson, another former Inter Milan manager who had once told Roberto Carlos he'd never make it as a left back, didn't exactly get the fans' pulses racing. He was sacked in December with Inter 6th and 13 points adrift of the top. Still won the FIFA Club World Cup though, which is the glorified community shield of the world, I guess. Southampton, Ralph Hasenhüttl. This man's backstory is a real mystery, isn't it? Ralph Hasenhüttl's worst season was back during the 09-10 campaign, back when he was fired in February after winning only 31 points in 24 games for Unterhaching in the 3rd tier of German football. Tottenham, Mauricio Pochettino. Mauricio Pochettino hasn't had too many bad seasons, but you know, probably during the 12-13 season, when he was sacked by Espanyol in November, leaving the club in last place with 9 points from 13 matches. I think that's why Southampton fans freaked to the high heavens. If you told them that he'd be being courted by Real Madrid within a few years, they'd have probably stopped complaining. Watford, Javi Gracia. Like Emery, Javi Gracia tried and failed in Russia. During the 16th season, he finished 9th with Rubin Kazan, and he was sacked. West Ham, Manuel Pellegrini. Manuel Pellegrini's worst season was finishing 4th at Man City. Although not only did he manage to, finish 4th with the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, Raheem Sterling and Sergio Aguero, this man only scraped into the top 4 on goal difference. Man City were 8 years into the revolution and they were still relying on Champions League qualification through goddamn goal difference. They finished 15 points behind Leicester City, for Christ's sake. Wolves, Nuno Espirito Santo. Nuno Espirito Santo was sacked by Porto during the 16-17 season for finishing 2nd. Bit harsh.